You know that feeling, right? That slow, kind of confusing silence when a friendship or a relationship just fades away. It's something pretty much all of us have been through. So today, we're going to unpack why good people, people like you and me, sometimes just stop reaching out. I mean, it's a really painful question to ask yourself. One minute, you're close, you're sharing everything, and the next, it's just radio silence. And there was no big fight, no dramatic blow up. They've just gone. So, what is really going on there? Well, there's actually a name for this. It's called the slow fade. And it's not some big explosive ending. No, it's this gradual withdrawal that can leave you feeling super confused, pretty hurt, and just questioning everything about the relationship. And the signs, man, they're so familiar, aren't they? The texts get shorter and shorter, maybe down to just one word. The phone calls just stop. Any plan you try to make is always for later or soon, but soon never seems to come. And then you have that sinking realization that, hey, if you stop texting first, you might never hear from them again. It's a pretty clear pattern. So when we're staring into that silence, our brains, they scramble to make sense of it. We have to write a story in our heads to explain the hurt. And we usually end up telling ourselves a very, very specific kind of story. Yep, this is the one. The default narrative is to make them the villain. We tell ourselves, oh, they're just selfish now, or they found better friends, or maybe they were never a good person to begin with. And look, it's an easy story to tell because it puts all the blame squarely on them. But what if that story is just plain wrong? I mean, sure, sometimes friendships just end. But what if the reason they pulled away isn't about being mean or malicious at all? What if, in a lot of these cases, it's actually about survival? About self-preservation. This quote right here just gets right to the heart of it. It's not that they stopped caring about you. It's that they got completely exhausted from being the only one caring for the relationship itself. They just hit a wall where they couldn't give any more. And this gives us a name for what's happening. We can call it the silent exit. It's not about being cruel. It's a quiet retreat from a connection where all the emotional labor, all the work of keeping things going became completely one-sided. Now, to really get this, we need to look at the psychology behind it. Because our relationships, whether we like it or not, kind of operate on this hidden accounting system. Our brains are constantly and quietly doing the math on the emotional cost versus the emotional benefit of our interactions. You give support, you hope to get some back, you put energy in, you hope it's reciprocated, but when that system gets way, way out of balance, your brain starts sounding the alarm bells. And you can see that whole process right here. On one side, you've got this one-sided effort. You're the one always making the plans, always checking in, always playing the therapist. And the result on the other side is, well, it's inevitable. It's total emotional depletion. Your brain starts to register this constant drain as a threat to your well-being. And really, the only logical response at that point is to pull back, to conserve your energy and to protect yourself. So this is where we have to completely reframe how we see this silence. It's not the absence of caring. It's the presence of a boundary. And it's a boundary that was probably put up after a really long time of feeling unheard, or like their effort just wasn't being returned. Think about that for a second. The person who pulled away, they made a choice. They decided that the pain of being the only one trying, that feeling of being ignored even when you're reaching out, is actually worse than the silence. So the quiet becomes a shield. It becomes protection. So at the end of the day, the silent exit, yeah, it's painful for the person on the receiving end, for sure. But for the person leaving, it's often a totally necessary act of self-respect. It's about finally recognizing your own limits and honoring your need for things to be a two-way street. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. If you've ever been the one to pull away, to go quiet, what was your silence protecting? Was it your energy, your peace of mind, maybe your self-worth? Understanding that can bring a lot of compassion, not just for other people, but for ourselves too.